In today's video, I'm going to be explaining why I'm going to be going all in on FUT Centurions before they go out of pack. So just before the video does start, a quick little ad on a trading service I offer over on Twitch for the cheapest trading guides out there for just £4, €4, or free with Amazon Prime. You'll receive daily trading and investing guides covering PlayStation, Xbox and PC with an array of methods covering all budgets. And I've been trading for over 10 years, making over 100 million in multiple different FIFAs, and now for the last 4 years I've made 10 million coins in just the first month. In today's video, what I'm going to be doing is explaining why I'm going to go all in on FUT Centurions before they go out of packs, because we have potentially got our first insane investment opportunity of the year. So the investing opportunity arises because we do have the likes of an evolution needing Centurions that is out for more days than Centurions are in packs. Now Centurions are going to be in packs for another basically 10 days, but this evolution is out for another 26 days. So because it's out for another 26 days, and even, you have to unlock it I guess within 19 days, there is going to be demand for Centurion cards when they're going to be out of packs. And because there's demand for Centurion cards when they're going to be out of packs, they should have a nice rise, because there's consistent increase in demand but zero increase in supply. Now obviously we don't know what players are going to be able to be used for this next week, but what we do know is there's 4 players that will be used for this week. And there's basically 2 different investing trends. Now the first one is that you can go and buy the likes of Muniain, Anrich and Rayson, and when we basically get to I think marquee matchup / division rival rewards, you should be able to buy these guys for discard. Now obviously these are not the most popular players, but what they are is they're a risk-free investment. You'll be able to go and buy them at 10.5k and there'll be no increase in supply in these cards, but what will happen is some people will use them in the likes of the Centurion upgrade, which means your cards, again, that are discard will only go up and up and up as they get rarer and rarer and rarer. Now, obviously, next week we don't know how many Centurions will be able to be used for these requirements. Obviously, they've gone for very specific requirements for a reason, but I can't imagine there'll be any more than 4 more next week. So if the 4 more next week are worse than even the discard ones, then the discard ones will do quite nicely. If they're better, then it doesn't really matter, because again, maybe they won't do too amazingly next week, but when the Centurion Team 2 goes out of packs, and again the Evo will still be out for like another 8-9 days, they'll still rise and rise and rise. But we get another nice trend. And the next nice trend is the likes of Dunk. Right now, Dunk is the best person to use for Evos. And as a result, he's not sitting anywhere near discard compared to the others. In fact, yesterday we saw a really nice rise on Dunk from 31k all the way to 55k because he was so demanded to be used in this Evo. So what will happen is if we get to Friday and none of the new Evo cards are as good as Dunk to go, none of the new Centurions are as good as Dunk to go and put in this Evo, what will happen is Dunk will rise really nicely because there'll be no more supply as of Friday, and he'll rise really nicely because he'll still be the favourite player to use. Now, if there is someone better than Dunk, you'll probably see a bit of a drop on Friday. And the reason you see a bit of a drop on Friday is because investors like myself are going to gamble that there'll be nothing better than Dunk, because Dunk really does max out some of these, well, he doesn't quite max out, but he gets quite high on some of these requirements. And because he's quite high on some of these requirements, there's not that much, it's not that favourable that there'll be someone that much better than him, basically. Because these requirements don't favour attackers because of the maximum 85 shooting and the maximum 87 pace. And because they don't favour attackers, because again, you can have like unlimited defending and you can have, unlimited physical as such. Because they don't favour the attackers and they favour the defenders, there's a lower chance that we get a defender next week that's going to be as demanded as Dunk. It really does favour the centre-backs as well, because even left and right backs, maximum 87 pace makes them not so demanded. Whereas obviously in a centre-back it's good. So it basically means unless we get an 85 rated centre-back that has more favourable stats than Dunk, which again EA can completely craft the cards on purpose to fit that, then Dunk will do really well out of packs on Friday. If there is a player better than him, he'll have an initial drop, but then he'll still probably be the second best and therefore rise. And again, when they're all out of packs in 2 weeks' time, he'll then do very well. So do you like the likes of buying Dunk? And it's actually quite interesting because this is arguably quite comparable to when EA back in the day used to require promo cards for it to be used in SBCs, even when the promo cards expired. If I can show you something called FUT Signatures, there was this promo that they had during Black Friday, and it was called FUT Signatures. And if you look at the likes of Renato Sanchez, this is an example of the players. Well, for some reason they required these in SBCs. And because they required these in SBCs, when they went out of packs, they just skyrocketed because they were still required, but there was no supply. For example, we can see Edwards was 28k, and it went all the way up there to 83k, so almost tripled in price, because they were requiring stuff that wasn't actively in packs. And if they're requiring stuff that isn't actively in packs, yet there's still demand, they should go up and up and up. Now, I would say there's a few things. One, there's been a lot of good evolutions, which means people may not be prioritizing this one. Whereas if there weren't as many good evolutions, for example, the centre mid one and the sharpshooter one, then there would be more demand for them. But and then again, we'll probably get more next week, which would then potentially put this even further back in the priority. But there'll still be demand without there being supply, so we can expect them to rise and rise and rise. So you're going to go and buy these when they hit discard. They should hit discard Thursday morning with division rivals, if not after marquee matchups. Now, Dunk won't hit discard, so the 2 buy times on him are 1. If you want to go and gamble that Centurions Team 2 will have better players for the evolutions, you're going to buy him after 6 PM on Friday. But I would gamble that that isn't going to be the case, and I'd therefore go and buy him either before division rivals, if we see a drop of, let's say, about 20-30% between what we're going from Wednesday and before division rivals, or I would just buy him whenever he stops dropping after marquee matchups. And then I'd imagine you'll probably see a little bit, well, you'll see a bit of a rise going Thursday after marquee matchups going into Friday, because people anticipate this being a good investment. And then Friday 6 PM is kind of judgment day if he goes up or not. Again, if he goes down, you just hold on to him for the panic selling, because he should then proceed to rise. And yeah, I mean, that's really about it. Now, how long will these players rise for? So if I'm not wrong, there's a chance I'm getting the understanding wrong. The unlock within means submitting a player into doing the evolution. Expires in 26 days means you need to complete it. Which means that, in theory, there should only be dunks being taken off the market for another 19 days. Despite the evolution being out for 26, because you can't submit players into the evolution after the unlocking thing is over, it should only be 19 days. So in theory, Dunk will rise and rise and rise for at least 17-18 days. There might be a bit of panic selling on the last day, so maybe you want to play it safe. At the same time, there could be panic buying. There could be people just before the evolution ends, and they quickly do the, quickly put a player into there, so then they can go and do the evolution. You really risk. It's a bit of an Icarus getting close to the sun. The closer you get to that 19 days, in theory, the more they're being demanded. But if you get too close, and then everyone's panic selling because they know that the demand for Dunk's going to die as soon as the Centurion upgrade's over, then again, you could get caught in a bit of a trap. So ideally, you're going to go and sell it probably in about 17-18 days time, which by then, Dunk would have been out of packs for, what, like 12 days, and all Centurions would have been out of packs for 5 days. Likewise with the discard players. The discard players, again, you'd be selling in about 16-17 days time. And that's about all it is with the investment. How much would I put on these cards? Now, again, it's a bit of a gamble. It's not like this is a week in, week out trend. There is a chance of overinvestment. I'd say because I don't think it'll be too long term unless we get loads of players in Centurion Team 2, you could generally put like 30-40% of your coins. And then, depending on how much of a risk, depends on what you split that between Dunk and what you split that between the discard cards. If you don't want any risk whatsoever, you go 30-40% into the discard cards. If you want a little bit more risk, again, maybe you go 10-20%. If you want to fully risk it, high risk, high reward, you go all in on Dunk. Well, sorry, you put 40% of your coins into Dunk after marquee matchups. But also showed earlier in the video that I did buy Dunks. That's just because I was going for a day flip. Basically, I was buying them all this early morning for like 45, and I'll probably end up flipping them all for like 49. This isn't me actually buying them to hold on to them long term. It's for me buying them to flip them into the afternoon. Because this card is so well demanded, he does rise from early morning going into the afternoon. So that's why I have these cards. So don't be mistaken that I own all these Dunks, which means you need to go and buy them. I've only bought them for the sake of flipping them during the day. Whereas again, I recommend you guys either picking them up if you see a decent drop before Division Rivals, if not potentially after Division Rivals if you see a drop, if not it'll be after marquee matchups. But I'd say that's about all she wrote. A really interesting investment trend with an even more interesting Halloween costume. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.